Okay, here is Manny Penny. And Manny Penny is a big-bodied 16 three-hand 5-year-old thoroughbred gelding by Micromanage, which is a Medaglia d'Oro line, and he's out of a Speedstown mare. So he's a well-bred gelding. And Manny's been here for probably about 2 weeks now, and I've put quite a few rides on him. So we had a ride video, I think it was his second ride, and I've probably ridden him another 3 times or so since then. So this is just sort of a check-in on where he is. And actually his flatting is coming along so nicely. I think that he's probably ready to start getting introduced to some poles and little jumps and things like that the next time I sit on him, hopefully in the next day or two. So this is really just a continuation of where we left off the last time. And Manny is he's just a really sweet horse. He's lovely to be around. He tries his heart out. He has an excellent attitude, lovely movement, way of going, makes a beautiful shape, ground covering step, all that stuff. No unwanted behaviors with this horse whatsoever. There's no bucking, there's absolutely no rearing or spinning, no excessive spooking, all those things. None of those things are on the table for him. He comes out every day trying, wanting to work, looking for the right answer, all that good stuff. The thing about Manny, though, is that he's just a little bit confused about the connection when he came. Oftentimes these guys come and they don't understand the contact, but they're sort of neutral about it. But when Manny came, obviously I have no idea, how he was ridden as a racehorse, but he was pretty above the contact when he came, and he felt sort of anxious about it. Like whatever had happened, he was unsure of how to communicate with the contact. And so I've really spent time, working with him on it without, you don't want them to feel like you're drilling them on it, but of course at the same time, you want to make progress and you want there to be a clear line of communication as to what the right answer is. And so I feel like I think I'm doing a pretty good job of walking that fine line. And if you go back and watch his last ride video and compare it to this one, I think you'll see a lot of improvement. I certainly know that I feel a lot of improvement in him. And so the thing about Manny is he's a really good horse and he doesn't do anything wrong, but if you're going to be his next human, you have to have a feel. You can't think that you're going to figure out the connection on him if you don't already know it. So, you have to have good instincts as to, when to give, when to take. You need to feel pretty confident in yourself that you can ride a horse over their back, because he needs that, because he's not sure. So he really needs his pilot to have a good understanding and a good feel of what the connection's going to be. And you'll see it in here. I mean, I left our whole Trot warm up here. I left in here totally unabridged, and you'll see the little moments when he wants to come up and he's just, loses it for a moment, which is going to happen with any green horse. But for him, like right here, he really needs a rider that can just say, "Hey buddy, it's right here, and let me just show you how to do this." And in that moment when he's not sure, you're sure. And so if you have that good sort of feel and confidence in yourself, he's going to be an amazing horse for you, because he absolutely tries so hard. And he's just such a sweet, cute horse. I shouldn't say cute because he's really big and beautiful, but he does just have such a cute personality and way of going. So like most recently off the track racehorses, he finds the left to be a little bit easier than the right, but I will say that the right is just massively improved in the last couple of rides. He's really figuring it out. He's finding some true flexion here to the right. It's hard to see it in the video. Billy's standing in the middle of the ring. And I wouldn't say that we're doing like true leg yielding at this point, but I am, especially when we're going to the right, I'm trying to turn him a little early out of the corners and then sort of start introducing this idea of lateral work, of yielding to leg pressure, especially to the right, finding that inside leg to outside hand. To try and help him sort of figure out flexing his rib cage around the inside leg. And certainly he's getting it. I mean, it's not perfect. You wouldn't expect it to be perfect, but I think it's clearly trending in the right direction. And so like here, these are some lovely moments here coming out of this corner. And all this actually, I think, is quite good. Manny has a good work ethic in the sense that He's certainly not lazy, but he's also not hot. So he kind of trends right in the middle. You know, he's happy to move along. You get to say, hey, let's go, without feeling like he's certainly not going to be running away with you, but he is happy to motor along and do his job. So we took a walk break after we did all that trot work. And I'm at the point with him now where we're walking over all the poles in the ring. He's actually super easy about it. He could care less and he'll gladly walk over anything. So I do feel like introducing trotting and cantering over jumps and some little X's and things like that, it will all be easy. It won't be a big deal at all. So in his canter work, it's really the same as the trot. You know, you just have to sort of stay steady, be confident in yourself that you know what the feel is and you can show him, you know, what is the correct answer and sort of help correct him when he's not quite right. And of course, we're doing all that with a lot of empathy, and I don't expect perfection. I just simply want things to generally trend in the right direction. So these are some good moments here in the canter. Actually, one thing I was really quite happy with in the canter work, especially, was that even when he wasn't truly round, you know, he's a little bit above the contact, but in a very normal green horse way. So he's coming above the contact a little bit right here, actually. He's a little above, but without being a giraffe. You know, he's not overreacting to being above the contact, which is wonderful. It's okay. I would prefer that they're a little above the contact than below the contact, and it's important that they don't need you to manage every single step. They should be able to float around the ring a little bit above the contact sometimes, especially, you know, when you're thinking about wanting to jump and that sort of thing. But when I first started riding him, he would be above the contact in sort of an anxious way and too above the contact, sort of unreachable. And so we're getting to this point now where certainly he's understanding roundness, but he's also understanding that, okay, you don't have to be round every second. You can be above the contact without that being a worrying thing. It's funny with these guys. The left, he's a little easier to the left, but he actually is doing a better rightly canter depart to the better canter depart to the right than to the left. So, you know, go figure. Who knows? And I especially think that the right canter work is so improved. If you go back and watch his last ride video, the right canter was still a little bit rough and it has smoothed out so much. You know, Manny really, he's a big horse. You know, he's 6'16", which I think is big. Actually, I think that's just a fantastic size for a big horse. It's not too big, but it certainly doesn't feel small. And he's quite big bodied, and he does have a ground covering stride. So without feeling fast, you do feel like you're covering the ground. So he was super. I'm just so happy with him. And for whatever, well, it's spring in Maryland, so it just seems like every single day is windy. So it was another cold, windy day here, and he's just so good about that stuff. He really blocks out whatever craziness is happening with the weather, and he is really the same horse every time he comes out, no matter what the environment around him is doing. So here he is on cross ties. He's wonderful and sweet and all the amazing things to work with on the ground. We love having him in the barn. He's a total sweetheart, very personable, wants your attention all the time. He stands great on cross ties. He did get his feet done since the last ride video, and so his feet look so much better. And we took new pictures of his feet today since they've been done, and they are in his Flickr album. And he was excellent for the farrier, I should mention.